Happy holidays. Happy Sunday. Welcome in to the Michigan Basketball Postgame Live Show. I'm Dennis Fithian. A matinee at Chrysler Arena, a 1 o'clock tip-off against the Mastodons of Purdue Fort Wayne. That's what was happening today in Ann Arbor, and Michigan goes on and gets the victory. They got up early. They led by 25 at the half, and they end up winning it by 31. 89-58 is the final, and Michigan is now 9-3. Number 24, Michigan, now 9-3 on the season. And we'll take this one, and we will walk you through it. If you were watching football, you're watching this one after the fact. It was game number 12 on the season. Number 24, Michigan, bringing in Purdue, Fort Wayne, and U of M looking to break a two-game slide. They had lost to close ones against the Sooners, the 4-point play, and then to Arkansas in a close shave against the Razorbacks, and trying to get back on the good side heading into the holidays. Michigan plays today, the Sunday, and then they'll have a week off, and they'll play their last game of 2024 a week from today, Sunday night, also at the Chrysler Center. This one, U of M needed less than 15 minutes to take a 20-point lead, and they did have that 25-point cushion at the half, and they end up winning it in a rout, 89-58. We'll look at the box score. How about this one? I was looking at Michigan's Twitter page, and they called this one a sellout. And not only this one, but next week as well. Oh, tickets sold. You were there. You tell me. Michigan's selling out a 1 o'clock game going up against the Lions and packing Chrysler. And it was about a month and a half ago when Dusty May said, give us a month. We'll fill the place up. And he was right about that. They're selling the tickets. So, that's good. That's a good sign for Michigan that they are a popular team. It's not a bad sign. They're a popular team. Taking a look at this one, Trey Donaldson, who had the three-pointer to win it. Michigan only needed one. They only trailed by one, so they only needed a field goal, but he shot a three. Nonetheless, Donaldson leads all Michigan scorers with 16 points and 6 boards. He had 3 assists, knocked down both of his free throws. Michigan's shooting so much better from downtown. I've been a little bit of a bugaboo. Their field goal percentage was good, 37 for 59. That's 62.7%. And then three-pointers, 10 of 21, 47.6%. And they only went to the charity stripe 6 times, and they knocked down 5 of them. The turnovers are the one thing that people ask about. You'll say, hey, they won by 31. Somebody say, hey, how many turnovers do they have? You say 18. Kind of cringe a little bit at that. But I want to say that's who they are through 12 games. They turn it over a lot. That it would not be wrong if you said that. Vlad Golden had a baker's dozen, 13, 3 and 1 for Big Glad. Vlad, and Roddy Gale Jr. also had double figures. He had 12 points, 6 boards, and 4 assists. Amari Burnett, 10 points. So those 4, Donaldson, Golden, Gale, and Burnett in double figures. If there was any surprise, it was the Wolf of State Street being held to just 4 points in this one. 4 points, 13 boards, 5 assists for the man who stirs the drink a lot of times in Michigan's offense, Danny Wolf, 4, 13, and 5. That's how it looked for the starters. And in the bench in this one, you had double figures for the first time from a freshman. The point guard, Justin Pippen, had 10 points, 4 boards, and 2 assists. You may say, who's Michigan's, after you give Donaldson and Gale Jr. in the backcourt, you say, who is the next guy in? Well, it normally is Reuben Jones. Jones left this game with a left knee injury. Now, they called that precautionary. I didn't see Dusty May comment on it in the second half, but on the broadcast, they said it was precautionary. And the game was well in hand, and they have a week off. So, you're talking about thinking that he'll be ready to go for the Big Tens. That's speculation on my part, but that was something that he was dealing with. I think the same thing, at least that's how the broadcast sounded. I was listening to the broadcast side during the game today. They made it sound like it was the same thing that he was dealing with early in the season. So, what's that, tendonitis or something? Cheddar, 9 points, 4 boards, and a feed. Sam Walters, you still want to see him get it going from downtown, just 1 of 4. He had 7 points. LJ Kayson, after one of those exhibition games where he went for like, what do you have? I don't know, 20 or something. I forget. It was crazy. And just a 1 half, you were thinking, this guy might be one of the surprise freshmen in the entire country. We haven't seen it from Kayson since. 5 points, 3 boards. Dusty, in his postgame, talked about him needing to, do better in practice. So a little coaching going on. And then Jones, who I mentioned, left. He had 3 points, knocked down his only 3-point attempt and had a board. And that's the way the stats look for Michigan in this one. Now, other things to think about, I'd see a lot of people over on the Maize and Blue Review who will, during a live thread in the game, say if Michigan turns the ball over this much, it's going to cap their ceiling, their potential on how well they can do. And I don't, disagree with that. What I find is interesting, and betting odds don't mean everything. In fact, Michigan is a popular team that I just mentioned. So they like betting on them. That doesn't mean they're the best team in the Big Ten. However, if you look on ESPN Bet and their futures and the conference favorites, Michigan is the betting favorite in all of the Big Ten. Michigan plus 320. I found that really surprising. Now, it really doesn't all match up when you look at some of the other numbers, Michigan being the betting favorite on ESPN Bet entering today's play. You also look at the NCAA championship winner, the team to cut down the nets. They have Auburn as the favorite. But if you go down, Michigan is tied for 13th best odds, betting odds, to actually win the national championship. I haven't heard anybody say, I haven't looked for it, but I haven't heard anybody talk about Michigan getting to the Final Four or winning the championship. But if you look at the other Big Ten teams, you do see that Illinois is right there with Michigan, and Michigan State, the third best betting odds out of the Big Ten to win it all at plus 6,000. So you have Illinois and Michigan there at plus 5,000, Michigan State at plus 6,000. Now, if you look at Ken Palm's numbers heading into the game today, Michigan actually was and this feels more accurate to me, Michigan ranking as the 6th best Big Ten team in the Ken Palm rankings. And Michigan, they're ranked number 24, but Maryland, Oregon, UCLA, Illinois, and Michigan State, those 5 teams all in front of the Wolverines. Ken Palm entering today's play, where Michigan checked in at number 25, number 24 in the rankings, and then Michigan's defense ranked number 23 and 31st on offense in those Ken Palm rankings. What does all of that mean? Well, it means that Michigan is a popular team, and people are, at least right now, you see their name up there, and they are the betting favorite. Maybe that changes. You have a lot of different numbers. You want to start, putting up strength of schedule and those kind of things. They're getting ready to play the Big Ten, but when you see that they're one of the top 5, top 6 teams, certainly, I don't know, it's 18 teams now. They're in the top half. The Big Ten usually, now this is before the expansion, it would not be uncommon to get 5, 6, 7 teams, maybe even more, 7, getting into the NCAA tournament. And so, what this tells me, just, thinking about it and looking at it, is that Michigan has put themselves in a nice position to get into the NCAA tournament. And for me, this first year, your expectations can always go up when you watch a team play and they're doing something. You say, hey, why stop at just getting a bid and getting into the tournament? Why not think about this team winning a wide open Big Ten? Why not think about this team being able to, if you're looking at those numbers, think about it. Why can't they say Final Four? Sounds like a stretch, but why not talk about this team getting into the Sweet 16? I would say because it's still 2024. Let's get a little bit closer to March. Let's get into February. Let's talk again. We'll talk after every game, but let's, if we're sitting here on Valentine's Day talking about Sweet 16 or Final Four, that'll be good news for the Maize and Blue. So those are how the numbers all look today during the game. And now Michigan is 8-3 on the year. Let's check that upcoming schedule, and that is brought to you by the Maize and Blue Review. That's the feed that you are watching and that you are listening to right now. And why not give yourself or that U of M fan in your life the gift of the Maize and Blue Review? Santa is sitting there with the Maize and Blue Review on his lap or in his Christmas bag there. Get in your bag and get the Maize and Blue Review. Go to michigan.rivals.com. I'm just flying off the handle here with some of those Christmas things. And Michigan has one game remaining in this calendar year, and that is a week from today against Western Kentucky. That is a 8 o'clock tip. It is on the Big Ten Network, and Michigan will host the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers as they will come into the Chrysler Center. Before then, they put the non-conference slate behind them, and then they head out west and will spend the New Year's in California, but it's true, but I would just say the West Coast because they'll go to USC, then they'll play UCLA, and then they'll make their way up. No, that's true. Strike it all. Michigan will spend the New Year in California, where they will play USC on the 4th, and then on the 7th, they'll play UCLA. Then they'll come back home, and they'll play Washington. I was thinking maybe they stay out for all 3 games out there. No, but they'll play 2 in Cali, and then they'll come back, and they will play Washington on the 12th. So that's how it ends up playing out schedule-wise. You think about that in football, it's just one game, you go out there. Basketball, how would that work? Would Michigan go out and play USC? Would they come back? Would they, no, they'll stay out there for a little California trip. I was asking Tom Wyrot, their SID. I said, that didn't sound like a bad idea, sounds like a lot of fun being able to say in California, just throwing up his hands like, I don't know what his itinerary is. And I would think you would get a day or two, but what are you going to get a day or two by yourself out on the Golden Coast? You can find yourself a couple things to do out there. I think the beach would be in order. Go out there, grab yourself a book, and maybe some morning walks on the beach. All right, whatever. All right, thanks a lot for joining us. We're here after every Michigan basketball game. This one, Michigan breezes to the 31-point victory, 89-58. So they'll likely stay in the top 25 for a week, and then they'll wrap it up this year. Their non-conference schedule next Sunday night before starting it out, heading out to California and getting into conference play. That'll do it. Everyone, enjoy your weekend. And hopefully, like a lot of people there, you get all of next week off. You're just like, you're in vacation mode. And I hope that you are in touch with your loved ones and friends and having a great week. We'll talk with you tomorrow on Good Afternoon Michigan Football and Basketball at 2 o'clock. Until then, we'll see you over on the Den on M&BR. That'll do it. Michigan wins it 89-58. Good night, everybody.